What is up, everyone? So as you can see, I have this new contraption in front of me, and basically what it is a 3D printed insert press that I made so that way I could press these inserts in with precision on my 3D printed parts instead of tapping the parts by themselves. So let's get into this build and see what it's all about. So the way you get into adding this fixture here is basically buy a soldering iron. They have different style tips for your soldering iron. Make sure the one that you have looks like this, where it has these tips inside, because that's basically the same as the brass insert that's going to go in there to replace your actual soldering tip. So it should look like this and like this. Okay, there's a hole in this one here, and then there's a hole in this one here. And that's for this heater element to slide into. So basically, instead of having your tip go into this insert like so and come out the bottom, you're going to replace it with the brass bit that it comes with, and it comes with the thread. So they got a whole bunch of different styles of these. The one I recommend getting, you can look on Amazon. I bought this and then they sold out, so you know, just look at reviews. But the one I got has the same diameter, but it has a thread at the end right here, and that thread threads into the inserts like this. So there's a thread on the female side of it, and then the male side is your little stud, which goes into a threaded insert. Okay, so I recommend these just because they're easy to replace. The ones that are all solid, a solid piece like this, and then they're machined down, every time you want to change the threaded insert that you're going to press in, so say you got a smaller size, you have to disassemble it and pull this out. Whereas this one with the thread at the tip, all you got to do is loosen it up. So it drops down in there like that. So now you have a threaded insert, and then all you got to do is slide it up in there to the top, just like how you would replace a soldering tip, and tighten it up, and now you have the threaded piece. And then now you can thread in whichever threaded insert size you want, like such. The 3D printed pieces I made are 4 halves. So you have a hole in the center, you have this little step right here. So this step, this distance here, is half the distance of this locking mechanism, just so that way I could sandwich them together and know that they're touching, everything's all true. And then this right here, I made a way for it to wedge into the opposite end, so that way when these come together they align each other. So I don't know if you can see that, but it has like a triangle cut out of it, and then the other piece is the triangle, which when they come together they self-align. And then when these two pieces come together right in the middle, I'll show you an up close version of it, but up in the middle I made sure it aligns with the way this pinches, just so that way it comes together the same way it's clamping. Okay, but that being said, these are all 3D printed parts that I designed for this particular machine. So one thing I've been using on my printer, since we're talking about printing these parts, is I have 2 printers. The one that I have outside that's a little bit larger, that's why I didn't bring it in here, it just takes up a lot of room, has a glass print bed. And I use the glass print bed a lot because it gives me a smooth finish. So this one here has the texture bed, and so when printing on it, it gives me a texture. These print beds, when you basically pull them off, you could pop the part off. Sometimes they get stuck because, you know, the print digs into the pores and like really wants to stay there. So I use a lot of hairspray on my glass one, or my glass print bed, so I decided I was using hairspray also on the metal one. One thing with hairspray is it does build up some film, and you got to take it under the water and wash it off. While my glass print bed, since it's larger, it has clips that hold it down, whereas this one's magnetic, so it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to take off and then have to re-level everything. So originally what I used to pop off my prints on the glass print bed is a 1-inch chisel. So it's a 1-inch wide chisel, and it's made by Irwin, and basically I hit the prints with that. So if a print was here, I would just hit it like that and it would pop off. So something like this, and then it'll pop off, right? And then I would take the chisel and I would scrape the bed, or take some alcohol and wipe it on and sit there and scrub it, and it would kind of smear it a little bit, you know, make it a little cloudy. Well, one thing I found out was this this Rollingdog spatula that I have, I was actually using it on some sheetrock stuff, and I looked at it and I was like, you know what, instead of sitting there scraping it with the chisel or using alcohol and, you know, or water to remove the old hairspray, I picked this up and just gave it a try. And this knocks off the print fairly easily. And then also this larger blade here allowed me to scrape off the old residue from the hairspray. So that's what I used it for. But also I've been using it on some drywall stuff, which I guess I could tell you, since it's a 10-in-1 tool, it does have a lot more features than, you know, using it on the print bed and its intended purposes. So let me just go over the things that, you know, it has on it, just so you're aware if you decide that you want something like this for your printer, or something like this if you're doing drywall, because you'll see this in, you know, my home renovation stuff that I've been doing as well. Okay, so just a briefing on this scraper that I have. It's cool because it has a lot of functions all in one tool, kind of like the paint openers with the circle on one end, and it has an arm and then a pry bar at the other end to open up paint cans that has like a bottle opener on it. And I love tools like that just because it's like, you know, you're already doing the work, so it's cool to incorporate as many things into something as possible. And this one actually has 10. So not only am I scraping things, you know, off my print bed, but you could spread compound with this, you know, which for drywall, that's what it's designed for, you know, spread the compound. You could chip away stuff, so it has an angle right here, so you could get under old paint and scrape all that up. You could also slide it behind baseboards and knock it out, you know. You have this as a paint roller, which basically you put your roller here and you could scrape it off, or you could use this side if you want, depending on, you know, your preference. We have something like this that we've made with the cutout like this at work, where we take a flat spatula and just cut out a side of it because we use it for powder coat. So we use the at one point in time we used powder coat as a glue, so everything would bond together. And so say you wanted to glue this to this, you put the powder in there, heat it up, and then you would stick this in, powder would ooze out, and then you would take a scraper like this and scrape it straight up, and then the sandblaster could blast all that off. So that's cool and interesting that, you know, I see it already built into something. You have a can opener here, just like the paint can one. That was cool, you know, if you need a nice cold brew or some cola or something, some soda, just pop that up. You also have this nail puller, you know, so usually like in the baseboard trims, you'll have like these small nails that sometimes get, you know, like when you pull out trim, they'll stick out and you can't get to them. It's nice that you have this all on one tool, so as you're popping out the trim, you could, you know, slide the nail in there and pop that nail out instead of having to reach around for your hammer and try to get it out just because your hammer has that awkward claw. This, you just go in, slide it, pop it. Yeah, and then you have this area, you know, which is more open, so you could use this for a variety of things. You have this point here where you could use it as a scraper, like if you're laying down tile or whatever, or if you just want to score a line in your drywall instead of bringing out your X-Acto knife or a razor blade. You have it right here. You just put your, you know, straight edge, cut it, boom. So I thought that was pretty cool. Rollingdog 10-in-1 multi-tool. But yeah, now I'm using it for, you know, print stuff. And it's cool because it also has texture on it, and it has a built-in hammer. So if you do have like those little tacks that are in your trim work, you could use this and bang it and set those things flush all in one. So you don't, like I said, you don't have to keep switching tools. So Rollingdog 10-in-1 multi-function painter's tool. So basically here's the inserts that I picked up. I have no ties to this brand. Ruth-X. That's the ones I found for the quarter 20 stuff. And then I just got these generic Chinese ones. This one's from Life Refinements on Amazon, and they have the different sizes. I like that they put them all the way across here, and then their size in the decimal format. And these are all for my smaller things. And then I have another box that are metric as well. So that's what I did for that. And then the brand of this piece here, like these little insert things, and then this, it's a generic brand. So as you can see, it just says made in China and then the sizes that it comes with. But the part number on here is X00409ZENV. Like I said, I just think it's, you know, rebranded stuff. Now, I don't want to tell you the brand of this just because it's like these are just rebranded things. Just look at Amazon reviews and find the best one. But basically, you have a plus, you have a power, and you have a minus. And this soldering iron in particular, I don't like because, as you could see, I could twist these little buttons around. I thought they were hard plastic buttons, but they're rubber. And the other ones like this with the display have like a little hard plastic button that's like super tiny, maybe like a 1/8 of an inch or 80 thousandths. And that's why I got these, because I thought they were just big plastic buttons. This illuminates and everything. But basically I bought this one just so I could have a readout, so I could set a temperature, figure out the perfect temperature for my materials, and then I could just hone in on that every single time. Okay, so yeah, standard soldering iron. And then an up close of the 3D printed parts that I made. So as you can see, this one has a male end where it's like a point, and this is a female end where it has a V notch, and then these come together like that. Okay, and then it sandwiches everything together, but it keeps it equal height, even though you have a lip here and a lip here. So the way I did this one is, as you can see, you got the notch at the top. I put 1/2, and I aligned it with this notch just so when it pinches together, you know, everything comes together a lot easier. Let me lighten it up so you can see what I'm talking about. And then same thing at the bottom. The brand of this, this is a drill press. So the way it's designed is you put a drill in here, and this clamps around the chuck of the drill. That's why it's so large. I mean, there's other types of presses you could get, but the reason why I bought this one was because this one was built heavy duty, because it's made for a drill, not like a rotary tool. Dremel makes one, but like I said, it's built for a rotary tool, their Dremel tool, which means that it's more lightweight. There's more plastic bits on it, and for about the same price, I got this one that has a metal base at the bottom, cast iron, and then it has all these casted parts, you know, to bring everything together, and it's nicely powder coated. But the brand is Electric Drill Stand is what it's called. It's a generic brand. But yeah, so you have over here your depth gauge. So I could set this anywhere. So if I wanted it to only drop this amount, I just set this depth gauge there. And then when I plunge down, you know, it'll basically stop at that point. So I could set those parameters on it however I want. So on this side of it, of course, the depth gauge on the side, the way it stops and limits itself from the motion is when you bring it down to wherever you want it, it hits right here, and it only allows it to go that far. Okay, this, I pulled it all the way up, now I got full range of motion until it stops and hits. Okay, it has a rack and pinion style setup on the back side, which keeps everything trued up nicely. So you have the gearing in here. Okay, so as we make our way further to the back, you have these two screws here that release this whole head mechanism. You can slide it up and down, and then you have the screw here which allows you to set this, so that way you just slide the whole head down until it touches there, and then you have a repeatable stop, and then turn it around. Of course, you have a cable management piece up here, which I'm going to probably 3D print something a little bit better, just so that way maybe have it curved, so that way all my tubing move, or the wire moves through the tubing nicely. On this side, you could even set angles, so you could tilt the head if you had a part that was, you know, awkwardly shaped. You came in and put it at, like, say you took this and put it right here, or I have the other piece actually. So say I knew this angle right here on this piece, I set it flat on the table this way, and I knew this angle, I could set this head and then plunge into it like that, you know, and come straight down into it, you know, depending on the angle that you set it at. So this is 0, 15, 30, all the way to 90 degrees. So it'll rotate that head. which is pretty cool. You also have these 3 adjusters here, which put friction on the side of this. So as you can see, I have a return. So it has a spring in here that lifts this back up. And then, of course, the metal base, you could fit, you know, like a clamp in here or some type of jaw fixture in here. If you want, you could have something that pivots that could move concentrically around this hole. You have mounting points here, and then you just take these off if you want to swap the tube for whatever reason. So yeah, if you have any questions on this, leave them below and I could answer them to the best of my ability. This was just a project that I decided to make because I had things like this I had to take care of, and I was tired of tapping them and then potentially stripping out the plastic. So I figured I'd design something with the threaded insert setup. Originally I wanted to, you know, do linear rails and all that stuff, so that way I could have something like on like a bench and like set it up that way. But before I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to spend too much time into this because I need to get some parts done. So meanwhile, you know, I designed this real quick, these inserts to work well with this. I figured, you know, out the parts that I wanted, and then I built this. Later on down the road, I'll probably do something that's electronic, that's, you know, repeatable, where you just press a button and it goes down until it fills a certain amount of pressure and then relieves it and then comes back up. Whether it's pneumatic or hydraulic or electric, that's still up in the air. It's probably going to be electric or air assisted, so something cool, you know. But meanwhile, I have this. So like I said, this, you know, and this, you're looking at anywhere for the whole thing in the range of like 60 to 100 bucks to build this thing. And then providing you have a 3D printer at home. If you don't and you're interested in this, my email's in the About Me page, so reach out to me, and yeah, I'm willing to make these as well. So, or any other accessories that you might think of, like an end cap that, you know, is suitable for something cool, you know. So yeah, my About Me page, I have my email if you're interested in purchasing something like this. So that's going to complete today's video. I hope you liked this little intro into what I made real quick. If you are, definitely give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you're interested in any of the home renovation stuff that I've been, you know, doing, definitely stay tuned for more, since I am doing a lot more sheetrock and stuff and painting. So until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.